Hi, my name is Peter Frederiksen. I'm an artist living and working in Chicago, and I'm here to talk to you about my upcoming show with Galleri Urbane called Human Cannonball. In my work, I utilize a lot of imagery and motifs sourced from the golden age of Warner Brothers cartoons. These are all post-war era, 1940s, 1950s, that kind of stuff. It's a well I keep coming back to. I guess I chalk it up to part nostalgia for my own childhood, my history with these characters, and everybody's history with these characters, the imagery that everybody knows already, everyone's familiar with, and the the I guess the kind of fucked up idea that depicted violence can be so funny. Um, it's also partially just reverence for the beautiful style and the color. It's gorgeous. Every time a bomb goes off, the colors are just so vibrant and noisy, and they're coming right at you, and then there's a perfect plume of smoke. What's not to like about that? You'll see a lot of doors in this body of work. They have actually been popping up in my artwork since I was in high school. Um, so I guess I've always been interested in doors. Conceptual subject matter. Lately, though, it's, in like the last year and a half, doors have been acting as a sort of safeguard, uh, various lockdowns in an effort to keep people safe and healthy, and not just yourself, but your neighbors, your family, everybody in your life, anybody that you care about. Uh, Something as simple as not walking through the door of your house can keep you alive. It can keep anybody in your life safe. It's wild. Of course, that leads to the concept of the unknown, because if your entire life is spent inside of your four walls, everything else becomes foreign and scary. Eventually, anything on the other side of the door can be something to fear, which is that's when imagery like a door being pounded on from the other side comes into play, or a shadowy figure unlocking a door, or a series of weapons penetrating a door. They're all continuations on the theme of health and safety being at risk. Violence, violence is everywhere in my artwork, which I suppose is less a commentary on violence and more about my personal fears. you know, um, I feel like so much of my work is about anticipation, or consequences. I'm using violence as a shorthand for either of those. So you lay in wait for something that you know is gonna hurt, or like the moments like right before ripping off a band-aid. Alternately, you can experience the effects of something that you set into motion. So there's a piece in the show called Heavier Than It Looks, which shows a figure that's struggling to lift a sword over a couple panels. It's, to me, a good example of the kind of consequences I'm talking about. The character in the pieces put themselves in a position wherein they need to fight, but they are inadequately prepared to do so, even if they could. The anticipation in that is the same as the consequence. Being ill prepared is the felling swoop. The show includes four embroidered animations, each of which are between 2 and 4 frames. and are displayed as either the grouping of frames or the animation itself, which is looping on a screen with the other animations. I've made about 10 animations at this point, maybe a little less, and I've learned a little bit more about what works and what doesn't with each one, which is good learning, you know. Um, what I like about these is that they're communicating the same kind of themes that I'm talking about, but in ways that you otherwise couldn't in just a single image. Um, in one of the pieces, it's called I don't know how, but they found me. Uh, you get 3 frames of a door that's bending inwards as something on the other side is knocking. The frames are simple. They're almost it's like almost imperceptible the differences between the 3 when viewed on the wall, just lined up. Uh, but once you add the time factor to it and you loop the images and you play it on the screen and you see the door bending in and then bending back out and bending in and bending back out as there's the knocking, it becomes violent. The door shudders in its frame. It threatens to break or to break open, break apart. And you don't get the same feeling from the stills, and I love that. I love that this piece, for example, it shares those 2 states of being, still and moving, and that they can be so different. I've loved self sculpture for as long as I've loved embroidery. Klaus Oldenburg obviously is a gigantic inspiration. It wasn't until recently, this year, that I decided to really try my hand at communicating some of the same ideas in 3D that I've been working on in embroidery. And so it obviously made sense to do it in fibers. I mean, I already have a sewing machine. So yeah, working in a third dimension really it forced me to think about things totally. It forced me to rewire the way that I think about making it. I made a stick. I made a stick out of automotive vinyl. I can't tell you how long it took me to figure out how to best make it. There are bamboo sticks that are inside of the thing as a skeleton because it needed to be able to support weight, and there was just like no way to stitch around the vinyl and the structure and then stuff it, and so, well, uh, work went into it. I'm really proud of it though. Both of the sculptures I made for the show, um, they're about teasing and tempting the viewer with success. They both involve a dollar bill. One is under a box trap, and one is hooked onto a large fish hook that is, the lure is coming down from the heavens. They're like in direct communication with an embroidery in the show called "Seeing What I Want to See," which features a cloud in the sky that looks like a dollar sign. It's like it's the hopeful take on the temptation of taking what's available to you in the sculptures, despite whatever risk might be associated